Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 5th of June. Good to have you aboard. We are a Blue Wire podcast, presented as always by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. Title sponsor since day number one of ZASLOW Show 2.0. None of this is possible without our good friends at Anidjar and Levine, who, if you've been involved in an accident, any kind of accident, if you have a personal injury, you let the best in the business take care of you. Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE, 800-747-3733. We're in a great mood to start out the week because your Miami Heat took Game 2 last night, 111-108. Good guys steal one on the road, just like you knew they would. The Heat steal the home court advantage, and now we come home for Wednesday night, Game 3. That building is going to be on fire Wednesday night. It will be rocking as the Miami Heat will host an NBA Finals game for the first time in 9 years. They will play Game 3 with a chance to take the series lead. What a thriller last night in Denver as the Heat deliver the first home loss of the postseason to the Denver Nuggets, shocking everyone except the guys in that locker room. Everyone else is shocked except the Heat fan. Everyone else is shocked except this team, that it just feels like it's their time. Like I said going into this series, it's tough to explain. This is intangible stuff that you can't put your finger on. But it feels like it's the Heat's time. They've been through the suffering. They've been through the heartbreak and losses. And the way that they were able to respond in Game 7 in Boston, it feels like it's the Heat's time. Also, I told you guys, what was it on? We didn't do a show since the Heat lost on. We did. It was Thursday night, so we did the show on Friday. Of course, it was Thursday night, and I told you guys Friday morning the Heat are going to be just fine. That was not the type of loss in Game 1 where I was crestfallen, where I was, oh man, like you would turn on the TV on Friday. And I told you guys, stay away from it. Don't watch it. You know, the Heat have been getting crushed all day on television. Are the Heat in deep trouble? You got that dopey Jay Williams. I'm seeing a sweep. Like, you're really not paying attention. You really haven't watched the Heat at all this postseason if you thought there was going to be a sweep. Like, just admit it. If you thought there was going to be a sweep, you're not paying attention. Or you're stupid. It's one or the other. I mean, take your pick. Either you're not paying attention, you're faking it, or you're a stupid person. Both of them are bad if you're on television, so take your pick. But if you thought that this Miami Heat was in trouble after the one game, you're an idiot. I mean, there's no other way to put it. And so I told you guys after the first game, and we did the show on Friday, where, I text buddies after the game on Thursday night, we're fine. And I tweeted out, we're fine. Game 2 is ours. And it just wasn't the type. I wouldn't be saying that if I didn't feel that way. Because, hell, I was dead wrong about what happened Game 7 for the Heat. Like, I felt like I had my soul, my heart ripped out after Game 6. I did not feel the Heat were going to win Game 7. I told you guys that. Sometimes you'll put on ZASLOW Show 2.0 the next morning. Oh man, I hope ZASLOW makes me feel better about the loss last night. And sometimes I will. But I'm also very open about it. The times that I'm not going to make you feel better. And I did not make you feel better about the Game 6 loss. I was dead wrong about that. So the point is, I don't sit here with, contrary to popular belief, I don't sit here with Miami Heat pom-poms. I don't sit here waving the Heat flag. I don't always think they're going to win. And when I don't think they're going to win, I tell you guys. If I'm scared, I was petrified going into Game 7. And then going into the finals here, I told you, it feels like it's our time. And after game one, I didn't feel bad at all. I wasn't mad at all during game one. I mean, we were getting our shit kicked in. We're down 17 at halftime. I think we're down 23 at one point in the second half of game one. And we're fine. We're getting great looks. Caleb Martin and Max Strus combined for 1 of 17. Robinson didn't give us anything. Jimmy gave us very little. I felt like we were fine. We're going to be okay. I didn't feel like after I watched game one that I didn't feel like I was watching the 2017 Golden State Warriors. Contrary to what everyone else was saying, I didn't feel like I was watching some unbeatable juggernaut in the Denver Nuggets. And I'm not trying to take away from the Nuggets. They're really, really good. And last night was super hard to win, and the next 3 games are going to be super hard to win. But I don't feel like I'm watching some all-time great team in the Denver Nuggets. So we lost game 1. Yeah, game 2's ours. We're getting game 2. And it just feels like it's our time. And here's the thing. Like going into game 2, was game 2 a must-win for Miami? No, because you know how I feel when it comes to that kind of stuff. This series is over when one team is up 2-0 and the other team hasn't played a home game yet. Get the F out of here. It was not a must-win game for the Heat. But if the Heat lost, I would not have sit here and told you we're totally screwed. No, we're going to come home and we're going to protect home court. But the reality of it is, if you didn't win game 2, this shit was going to be really, really difficult. Because then you got to win 4 out of 5 against Denver. And now, it's so on. It's so on. Super exciting times. You really needed that game last night. Wasn't a must-win. But if you had a realistic chance, you got to take one on the road. Like I even said yesterday afternoon, look, excuse me. You got to win 1 out of 4. If you protect the home court, you got to win 1 out of 4. Last night was opportunity number 2. Wasn't a must-win. But my mindset actually changed. What was it, like early in the fourth, really late in the third quarter. Because it was tight in the third. Remember, we were tied at 64 after the clear path foul when Bam was fouled by Jokic. He hits both free throws. You're tied at 64, which, by the way, I thought was a monster sequence for Miami that did not go their way. So don't forget this, all right? It's the third quarter. Jokic is unstoppable. Just unstoppable. And the Heat come out in the third quarter. They come out hot. They hit a pair of threes from Gabe Vincent. And you know how I feel? Now, usually I feel this way when it's a double-digit game. It's like 14, 16-point lead. Those first few minutes of the third quarter are always enormous. Which team can come out and get a couple quick baskets is really going to determine the flow of the second half. Enormous. And we weren't down double figures. So we were down by, I think we were down 7 at halftime. Okay. Well, Gabe Vincent comes out hot, hits a couple threes, but we had that huge sequence now where the game was tied at 64 after Bam hit the pair of free throws, Kevin Love with the long out, which, by the way, that play was so funny because Love hits him with the outlet, but that you got the camera on Bam in slow motion, and he's telling Kevin Love, no. He's telling him, don't throw that pass. He throws it anyway. Bam wins it, wins a foul. They get the clear path foul. So 2 shots and then the ball, right? So Bam hits both free throws. And this here I thought was a killer sequence for the Heat. They're tied at 64. On the ensuing inbounds pass, it's Heat ball now. You get Jimmy who misses a layup. He was caught like in between, lob to Bam, should I lay it in? And he ends up botching the bunny. And then on the other end, you get the phantom foul, Bam, on Jokic shooting the 3. Jokic makes all 3 free throws. Total phantom foul. Really thought, and Bam's freaking out about it. I really thought Spo should have challenged there, even though he holds on to his challenges for the fourth quarter. Now you saw, I think it was game 7 in Boston, where Spo used the challenge in the second quarter because it was going to be foul number 3 on Jaylen Brown in the second quarter. He hooked Bam, and that it would have been a 3-point play. They should have won that challenge. They lost it. But other than that play there, Spo never uses the challenge before the fourth quarter. So he decides not to use it there. That was a phantom foul. So you get the 3 free throws there. Then on the other end, Jimmy misses again at the basket. And then a possession later, Jimmy misses a free throw line jumper. So we were tied at 64. And it was such a bad sequence the next couple minutes. Like, and by the way, after that, late in the third quarter, when Bam finally goes to the bench, and Bam's been phenomenal. Like, if you want to talk about right now, you want to talk about front runners for both teams through 2 games, Finals MVP. Obviously, Jokic, triple-double, 41-point game. On the Heat side, it's Bam. Bam right now. He's been our best player. But then Bam goes to the bench late in the third quarter, and the Heat bench comes back in, who were dreadful in the first half, second quarter. Dreadful. If we lost the game, that's where the game was going to be lost. Just got killed at the end of the third quarter. But anyway, so that sequence was a killer for us, tied at 64, that we weren't able to take advantage. But then we're in the third quarter, we're tied 64, and certainly early in the fourth quarter. Yes, my original point. It wasn't a must-win for Miami, but my opinion changed there where we're tight or early in the fourth, we're in the lead. It now went from, for me, it went from a game that was not a must-win game to a game we absolutely had to have if we were going to win this series. We're tight. We have the lead now in the fourth quarter. You know, we're up 1, we're up 3, we're up by 5. Before we went up 12. But we're up by 5, and I was like, and there's like 9 minutes left, which you knew those final 9 minutes when the Heat finally took the lead in the fourth quarter was going to feel like forever. And for me, my opinion totally changed. It went from a game that wasn't a must-win to now, if we are going to win this series, we have to win this game. Have to win it. And what happens? You got a team that is battle-tested, has been in this spot, and they showed you what they were prepared for all year. They're ready for this moment. They're ready for these close games. And they made all the plays in the fourth quarter. So for me, it went from a game, it's not a must-win, to because the way the game was going early in the fourth, if you're going to win this series, you must take this game now. That game was there for the taking. And by the way, it's not like this game was here for the Heat to steal it. Don't let people today tell you that the Heat stole that game. The Heat did not steal that game. The Heat took that shit. They did not steal that game. The Heat took that game. Took it right from them. Made all the plays in the fourth quarter. Don't let anyone tell you that the Heat stole that game. They did not. They took it. And this Denver team is really good. But they're not some unbeatable juggernauts. They're just not. And by the way, and this is the way it goes in the NBA playoffs. Game to game, rapid reactions, knee-jerk reactions. I'm sure everyone's going to be on the Heat's tip today. I mean, look, maybe you're going to get the Nuggets lost it rather than the Heat won it, which I totally disagree with. The Heat took that shit last night. I don't want to hear otherwise. But anyone who didn't know that the Heat can win this series, now you know. Now you know. There's no one out there now. Now, it doesn't mean that people who think the Nuggets are going to win all of a sudden don't think the Nuggets will win. Because, hey, unless you thought the Nuggets were going to win by a sweep, your opinion shouldn't change. If you think the Nuggets in 6, 7, like, why would your opinion change? You clearly think the Heat are going to win 2 or 3 games. So, if you think the Nuggets are going to win the series, last night shouldn't change your opinion. But For people who don't understand what's going on with this Heat team and who don't think the Heat have a chance to win this series, because there's a difference between thinking the Nuggets are going to win the series and thinking the Heat have no chance. Those are two different things. Like, I think the Heat are going to win this series. But that doesn't mean I don't think the Nuggets have a chance. Of course they do. It's going to be so hard. Those are two different things. I think the Heat are going to win the series, but that doesn't mean I think the Nuggets have no chance. Anyone who didn't think the Heat have a chance going into the series, now you know. Now you know. Hey, you know I slept good last night. I was texting last night like I do after all these games. Huge South Florida, huge Miami sports fan. My man Colin, founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles. I'm looking forward. I think we're going to the Panther game on Saturday night. Game 4. I think I'm going with my guy Colin. Not only is he helping he's rooting all the teams on down here. You know, all the sponsors on ZASLOW Show 2.0 are huge South Florida sports fans. So you know you support the sponsors, you support the show. You're also putting your money in the right place. But my man Colin, founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles, is helping all of us sleep right. That's right. Hey, you got to follow at Sheets Giggles on Twitter. After all of these Heat and Panther wins, he puts up the special promo code, like flash sales. Use promo code blank at checkout right now after the Heat won. You know, like after Game 7, the promo code was never a doubt. Make sure you're following at Sheets Giggles. But hey, you're going to go online to sheetsgiggles.com. Just like the ZASLOW family, you're going to become one of over 100,000 Americans who are sleeping on Sheets and Giggles. We're never shopping anywhere else ever again for our sheets. I got the Eucalyptus pillow. I got the comforter, which is my all-time favorite comforter. We got the fitted sheets. I got the pillowcases. I got the sheets. I got the blanket. And all of it is environmentally friendly, okay? It's super safe. No pesticides, no insecticides. Got those extra deep corners so it could fit easily on the 20-inch thick mattresses. Hey, you ever sleep on a eucalyptus mattress? I haven't. I don't have that, but it's right there for you if you're interested. Sheetsgiggles.com. Use promo code ZASLOW. If you've never shopped on Sheets and Giggles, use promo code ZASLOW. You'll get 20% off your first order at checkout. Sheetsgiggles.com. You're never going to shop anywhere else for your sheets. They come right in the way in the mail. You're getting great prices on the best, most comfortably soft, breathable, the coolest, the softest sheets out there. Sheets and Giggles. You know that's my favorite. Sheetsgiggles.com. Also, speaking of our great sponsors, I've been telling you guys, and I've had listeners who tell me as well, ZASLOW, thank you so much for recommending Water Cleanup of Florida. If you have a water leak in your house, maybe you don't even know where it's coming from, you got to get on that right away. So you call my guys, the Greensteins, Water Cleanup of Florida. They're family friends. You're never going to use anyone else for your water restoration project. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. My guys, the Greensteins at Water Cleanup of Florida, we're talking over 60 years of combined experience. Their team is prepared to handle all types of leak detection issues, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And my favorite part, after the leak has been located and repaired, Water Cleanup of Florida, they're not done. They're going to clean, dry, and fully restore all of the damaged areas. They're fully licensed, insured, and certified to provide the one-stop shopping that all of us busy homeowners and business owners require. With Water Cleanup of Florida, you're not bringing in any other contractors. They're handling the entire project from start to finish. Water Cleanup of Florida serves the entire Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach counties. You can go to WCUFL.com. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Check out more than 80 5-star reviews on Google. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. Water Cleanup of Florida, we clean up your schmutz. Didn't need to take that game last night. I would have totally still believed in the Heat to come home and protect their home court. This Nuggets team is really good. Like, the only thing shocking that could come out of the first 2 games in Denver, the only thing that could happen that isn't supposed to happen is the Heat getting one of those games. If Denver wins both those games, it's ho-hum. It's like, yeah, it's exactly what they're supposed to do. No one is surprised. Then it would have been all the pressures now on the Heat. Now, I mean, I don't like doing the whole pressure thing But I think you have a supremely confident Miami Heat team. And I think you have a Denver team that is in a situation now. Not I think you do. I know you have a Denver team that is in a situation that they haven't experienced yet. They swept the Lakers. They ran through the Suns. And they ran through the Wolves. This Nugget team has been cruising all year long. They're great. But now you're going to find out what this Nuggets team's about. If you're a Denver Nugget fan, you're going to learn. And you can't be entirely sure how they're going to respond. They haven't been in this situation before. They haven't been here yet. We know how the Heat respond in big spots. They have guys who have been in the finals. They have guys who won championships even though they're not necessarily playing huge roles. And they've been in pressure cookers this postseason, all of which they were underdog. You're going to find out about this Denver team now. What a night. So I'm a bachelor this week. That's right. Bachelor pad ZASLOW Mansion. I'm a bachelor this week. It's me and my younger son, Jordan. It's two of us doing stuff that guys do all week. My older son, Corey, and my wife are on their class trip, the end of the year class trip for 8th grade graduation. So they're away the whole week. They're in Atlanta this whole week. So it's just me and my son, Jordan. Okay, great. Well, Jordan's got his routine. He goes upstairs and watches the end of the game in bed. Like, he went upstairs, I don't know, like around 9-ish, maybe 9:30. Goes up and watches the second half in bed. He didn't see the finish of the game, which, by the way, one of my favorite things as a dad is, like this morning. So I got to wake up early this morning. I got to get Jordan, help him get ready for school. He's in 5th grade. And I open up the door to his room. Dog comes out. One of our dog, my dog Shaggy, sleeps in the room with Jordan. Bailey sleeps in the bedroom with us. And so I open the door because I'm going to get the dog, and I'm going to wake up Jordan, get him ready, tell him, hey, time to get up, gotta get ready. One of my favorite things. Do you guys experience this? You got kids? One of my favorite things is on a night like last night and then a morning like this. And my son cares. He really cares about the Heat. He really cares about the Panthers. But he doesn't let it throw off his routine. He's very routine-oriented. So he's not going to stay up for the finish of the game. And I open the door. He rolls over. He sees I'm there. He opens his eyes. He sits up. It's one of my favorite things. I love this. Hey, man. Heat won last night. Really? Yep. That moment right there where he doesn't know what happened. He doesn't know the finish. It's one of my favorite things to walk into them. Hey, man. Heat won. And the look on his face. I love that. I love that moment. Do you guys experience that? That is what I love doing that to both my boys. Although the older one always stays up. But I love that. Anyway. So, the Heat just made all the plays in the fourth quarter. And throughout most of the game, like, Jimmy wasn't looking like himself. And that worries me. Like, it worries me that there's fatigue. It's the one thing, Tyler Hero being out, I've been saying throughout this postseason, I think it's a little overstated, Tyler Hero's absence, because it's not like those shots are just vanishing into thin air. It's not like those points, what are you going to do without those 20 points? Someone else is going to score them. They don't just vanish and go away. And for the most part, it's been Jimmy taking those shots. Jimmy with the ball in his hand instead of Tyler Hero. And that's not a bad thing. But the one thing that worries me, that has worried me throughout, is will it exhaust Jimmy? Will he get tired because he's doing more? He's doing too much. That's where I really think they miss Tyler Hero. Yes, they miss Tyler Hero having a guy who could create and make junk shots. But I really think the place where they miss him is just alleviating some of the pressure off Jimmy. And then the fourth quarter rolls around. And when Jimmy, the first time he touched the ball early in the fourth quarter, I think we were down by 5. He shoots the 3 in the quarter, gets the ball, shoots immediately, pulls us within 2. Monster shot, obviously, and it ended up being, the first of many big plays from Jimmy. But when he took that shot right away, I hated it because it meant to me, it's like, yeah, he's exhausted. The fact that he touches the ball and right away just jacks up a three instead of even thinking about going to the bat, like, I feel like he's tired. But it was the first of several monster plays from Jimmy. He hits the three there, went to the free throw line, 3-point play off the runner, hits another jumper when the lead was cut to 6, made it 108-101 at that point, put it back to, or it was cut to 5, then made it back to 7. Just a huge fourth quarter from Jimmy. And I got no problem with the final shot that he took either. Go for the dagger, dog. Go for the dagger. Like, I'm good with it. And a lot of talk, obviously, about the final sequence for Denver. If I'm a Nuggets fan, I really don't have a problem with Michael Malone not calling timeout there. The point was made, and I think it's a good one where if you're down by 2, push the ball, don't take a timeout. I think they had 2 timeouts left. If you're down by 2, push the ball, don't take a timeout. Down by 3, call the timeout, because I think Tim Legler made this point actually after the game, and it's a good one. Down by 2, don't call the timeout because there's so many different options. There's so many different things you could do down by 2 that you want to keep the defense on its toes. Down by 3, the defense knows you're going to go for 3. So call timeout, make sure you draw up the good play. I would have had a problem with him not calling the timeout, and I also see the point that's being made there to calling timeout, especially because you had 2. And by the way, they got a really good look. They didn't get the switch they wanted. Like, Murray came over for the switch, but it was Butler who was guarding Jokic. So now Butler, instead of, I think, Vincent, is now on Murray. That's the switch that he wanted. So that was a mistake right there by Murray. But he still got a good look. And probably all of Heat Nation, just like myself, I totally thought it was going in. I absolutely thought it was going in. So I'm watching the game last night, and really for the entire, third and fourth quarter, really entire second half, I'm watching the game by myself. I'm standing the whole second half. But I didn't say a peep. I'm standing there with my arms crossed, just dialed in, not saying a word. Even when the Heat hit the big shots, even when they missed, I wasn't saying anything. Like, I was quiet, I was cool, I was super nervous. Then once the game ended, when Murray missed the shot, oh my God, I dropped to my knees. Oh, thank you, Hashem. I love you so much. Thank you, God. But I was really calm, super nervous, really calm, really cool, standing the whole second half. Where do we start with the guys in the fourth quarter? Bam has been our best player. He was incredible in the fourth quarter. You obviously have the huge slam 3-point play, Michael Porter. Boy, Michael Porter, they must be killing him in Denver. He was awful last night. Terrible. Terrible. Bam was amazing. Hits the 2 huge free throws once the lead was cut to 3 after he draws the foul. Incredible. Clutch. Caleb Martin, who has done nothing this series and had 0 points going into the fourth quarter, takes and makes a monster 3 in the fourth quarter. That put the Heat up by 12. And how about the Duncan Robinson Revenge Tour? That's what it is. This is the Duncan Robinson Revenge Tour. And I'm not talking about, revenge against everybody else. This is his revenge almost against the Heat and their coaching staff for not playing him. His revenge tour is based on everyone down here who wants to trade him. And he's stealing money. And the coach for not playing him. That's the Duncan Robinson Revenge Tour. And that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, just a huge fourth quarter from Duncan Robinson, who I've been telling you since that Boston series. I feel so good for him. I'm so happy for him. And I told you going into I'm sorry if I'm doing too many I told you so's. I'm really excited. And I told you going into this playoff, Duncan's going to have his moments. He is. Said the same thing about Kevin Love, who hadn't played the last 3 games before they named that he was going to be a starter for game 2, which, wow, did that work. He was great. Kevin Love was great, especially on the glass. Love was great defensively. Kevin Love is going to have his moments. And I said the same thing about Duncan. He's going to have his moments. And did we know that these moments were going to be him mean mugging? The Duncan Robinson revenge tour. I'm not so sure he wasn't mean mugging the Heat bench and the Heat coaching staff. Biggest sequence of the game, huge fourth quarter, obviously, for Duncan. He scored 10 of the Heat's first 12 points, I think it was, in the fourth quarter. All 10 of his points came in the fourth. Biggest sequence of the game. The Heat are down 85-78, right? Duncan gets a layup and the foul. So now it's 85-80. Misses the free throw. Offensive rebound comes all the way back. I think Lowry got the offensive rebound, gives it to Duncan, who's kind of waiting, and then he's like, all right, you're going to give me 5 feet? F it. I'm throwing it up. Makes the three. So a 5-point possession for Duncan, which made it 85-83 at that point. Biggest sequence of the game. I told you he was going to have his moments. And then, of course, he had the layup soon after that, and that's where he did the mean mugging. Timeout, Denver. You better call timeout, Michael Malone. You know what to do. I'm so happy for him. And you know how confident that dude is now coming home? Yeah. A lot of guts, too, by Eric Spoelstra. What do I mean by that? You would have thought by halftime, Spo cannot play the bench again. That bench was so bad early in the second quarter. I mean, just look at Lowry, who and yes, Lowry had a good fourth quarter. Hit a 3 early on, made 3 free throws when he was fouled. Yes, he did a great job in the fourth quarter. But in the first half, he was a minus 21 in 8 minutes. He was horrendous and just so careless with the ball. I don't get it. And just the entire bench. Martin, Robinson, who did nothing in the first half too. Even Haywood Highsmith. A lot of guts and trust by the coach to trust the bench again at the start of the fourth quarter. A start of the fourth quarter, which was 15-2 Miami, or 16-2, something like that, with Jimmy on the bench. An incredible amount of trust that Spo has in his guys. Incredible. What a night, man. Oh, and by the way, so do you see the videos coming from Kaseya Center? Because they're doing the watch party. Dude, they're doing a watch party again tonight for the Panthers. I can't go to that at FLA Live Arena. I got to watch it here in the comfort of my own home. I can't do it. But they got the watch party there. And FLA Live Arena was packed on Saturday night for the Panthers game 1. I got to be watching the game here with a Johnny Cuba in my hand. All right, you know Johnny Cuba is the official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. One of our OG sponsors, my man Juan and his family, Johnny Cuba, super supporters of ZASLOW Show 2.0. You don't know about that Johnny Cuba picante hot sauce made with the finest lemon jalapeno? Come on now. You know what I'm talking about. Johnny Cuba, European roots of the Caribbean soul. It's my favorite beer, a refreshing German lager in a can. Pick up a 6-pack at your local Sedano's, Presidente, Winn-Dixie, Fresco y Mas. Hey, you always got to drink responsibly. That's why I like watching the games here in the comfort of the ZASLOW Mansion family room with a Johnny in my hand, because I'm always going to be responsible. Go pick up a 6-pack of Johnny Cuba. Send me a tweet or send me a message on Instagram. I'll post you drinking, make it a good pour, not too much foam. I'll post it on Instagram where, of course, I'm an influencer, and then you get super famous, just like me. Don't forget Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo. So anyway, going back to last night, they're showing clips of the watch party at Kaseya Center, place is packed, and it looked wild. Here's the thing. If you've never been to any of those watch parties for Heat playoff games, for Heat finals games specifically, I recommend going. Now, I've never been just for a watch party. I've been because back in 2013, which I think is when they started it, Heat and Spurs in the finals, I was doing the game broadcast from the watch party at the arena. And it is a great experience. Because think about this. I think the tickets are $10, although they used to be $1. I think it's $10. And it's open seating, you sit anywhere, and they pack the place. Here's the thing. Think about this. Because it's so cheap to go to the watch party there, the entire building and the entire lower level is filled with fans who couldn't normally afford to go to big playoff games, who couldn't normally afford to go to the finals. It's like the fans who are sitting in the upper deck for most playoff games, they're now all over the arena. They're now filling the entire arena. Fans who can't normally afford playoff games, certainly finals games, they're the ones who are filling up the building for the watch party. And they're huge fans. And they got a ton of energy. And they're loud and they're wild. So it's like the whole building is the fans who sit in the 300 level. So think about that. And the place gets rowdy. It gets really loud. It's a fun experience. If you've never been to one of these watch parties, I do recommend it. All right. Get back to the Heat in a moment here. I want to do a little bit on the Panthers. Just real quick, I want to mention about the Panthers. So Saturday night, and I feel the same way about the Panthers Saturday night as I did about the Heat after game one. Panthers are going to be fine. Even if the Panthers don't win tonight, Panthers are going to be fine. Panthers lose on Saturday night 5-2. Score is not indicative. Game was close. Game was tied with like 14 minutes left in the game. And we played fine. Did we play great now? No. Didn't play bad. Played fine. You had goals from Eric Stahl, Shorty, Anthony Duclair. I mean, a miracle late in the second period. Panthers never win faceoffs. We're the worst faceoff team. But it shows you how important when these faceoffs are. Late in the second period, Barkov wins the faceoff clean. Duclair gets an immediate shot on goal. Snipes it past Aiden Hill. Faceoffs are huge, and we suck at faceoffs. That goal was a miracle. Tied it 2, and we had a chance. I mean, hell, the save by Aiden Hill on Nick Cousins there, in the second period, I think it was. Incredible save. Although, Nick Cousins has to hammer home that puck. Like, he was kind of like it was dainty. He was trying to, redirect it, tip it into the net. You got to smash that to the back of the net. He knows that now. Panthers played fine. They'll get the game tonight. And even if they don't get it tonight, still feel great about the Panthers. By the way, when Vegas was in the Stanley Cup Final back in 2018, they won Game 1. I think it was 6-4. They won Game 1 against the Capitals. Capitals on the next 4. And that game was in Vegas, too. Vegas had the home ice advantage. That game was in Vegas, too. So, I feel totally fine about the Panthers. I think we're going to win tonight. I think tonight's going to be a lot of fun. And Paul Maurice even set up the game. It's like, everybody needs to fucking breathe. He's a great soundbite, Paul Maurice. I also felt like the Panthers got a tough whistle. That's not why they lost. But the Cousins penalty early on, he's the only one who gets penalized. Now, they ended up scoring a shorthanded goal on that. I think that penalty, they scored a shorthanded goal, or maybe it was the next one. But the penalty on Cousins early on, he's the only one that goes off. And then you had the Kachuk double minor late. No one else got penalized. You had the high stick when they scored to make it 4-2 with 8 minutes left, right? The Panthers challenge, it looked like it definitely could have been a high stick. Like the Panthers had a legit chance of winning this challenge. They took one look at it. It took 10 seconds. It came out good goal. I mean, that quick? Really? On a play, on a challenge, I thought the Panthers were going to win. That quick? And Paul Maurice even said after the game, they came to a conclusion real quick. I think they were just excited about to put us back in the box again. Yeah. So, anyway. And then they get the empty net goal on 5-on-5 because, double minor. We got served a double minor with 5.5 minutes left in the game. So, 4 of the final, or it was even less, I think, that 5 minutes left in the game. 4 of those minutes are going to be on the penalty kill. So, we got to pull Bobrovsky just to make it 5-on-5, which they do. And then they give up the empty net goal. What are you going to do? So, it was a close game. It was a good game. Panthers lost. They're going to get tonight. I feel really good about the Panthers tonight. I do. Hey, I want to tell you guys what else I feel good about. I love that several of you have reached out to me. ZASLOW, thank you so much for introducing us to the best insurance agency in the entire state of Florida. Top 5 insurance agency in the entire country. You know I'm talking about Brunt Insurance. That's right. BruntInsurance.com, 954-589-2204. From Pensacola to the Keys and beyond, wherever you're calling from in Florida, Greg Brunt and his team at Brunt Insurance, fully licensed staff. They know exactly where you're calling from. That's why they're the #1 insurance agency in all of Florida. That's why they're top 5 in the entire country. I've been getting my homeowner's insurance through Brunt Insurance for almost 10 years now. I don't need to shop anywhere else. I know Brunt Insurance is going to get me the best rate. I'm going to get affordable care, and I'm going to get covered in every aspect that I need coverage in. So God forbid something happens with my house, I'm good to go. What about automobile insurance? What about boat insurance? Hey, 954-589-2204. You tell Brunt Insurance exactly what you're looking for. They'll ask you a bunch of questions. They're going to make sure that you're covered in every area you need to be covered. So you're looking for that affordable care with the best coverage anywhere. Look no further. I'm not going to send you somewhere that I don't use myself. Bruntinsurance.com, 954-589-2204. You don't believe me? Just call. Get a free quote yourself. Brunt Insurance, 954-589-2204. So, what to do about Tyler Hero, right? That's the next question. He's going to be available for Wednesday. I think you have to play him. If you have a player of his caliber, you got a 20-point score, you have to play him. He's too valuable. Now they're not going to start him. But I think you do the Mike Miller treatment, where he comes off the bench, you play him for a few minutes. If he could be effective, all right, we'll keep you in for a little bit more. If you're not effective, all right, come on out. And that led to, Game 5 with Mike Miller against Oklahoma City in 2012, where he hits the 6 3-pointers, 5 3-pointers in a row, whatever it was. You got hot. All right, we'll keep you in. I think that's what you got to do with Tyler Hero. Gives you an extra ball handler, takes a little bit of the pressure, takes some of the fatigue off of Jimmy. I think you got to go with Hero, but it can't be at the expense of Duncan Robinson. Just being out there, you see how Duncan opens things up because of all the attraction that goes in his direction. And Duncan's earned it. He has. You cannot take Duncan's minutes away for Tyler. The coach will figure it out. But I think you got to try Tyler. You got to find a place for him. He's going to play Game 3. And Game 3, because this is a scenario we've never had. Every other finals, 2020, I'm skipping over it, not because it's not legit, but because it was in the bubble, we didn't have home games. We've never had a scenario like this, where we're the super underdog, and now we're in the finals. It's been 9 years since we've had a home finals game. Game 3, Wednesday night, is going to be an all-time scene. It is. First finals game in Miami in 9 years. And with this team that now everyone has grown to love, they're going to be energized. They're super confident. And we took the home court advantage. The Heat know what's at stake here. This Denver team has not been in this spot before. The Heat are going to come out Game 3 looking to throw haymakers. How's Denver going to respond? That building is going to be on fire. And the fourth quarter, look, let's just call it what it is. It's one of the biggest periods in the history of the franchise, especially depending on how the rest of this series plays out. If the Heat win this series, we will look back at the fourth quarter of Game 2 as, holy shit, as big a period as this franchise has ever had. Just so much guts all the way down from the coach to every player on the team. And you know what? If you don't think this team understands the gravity of the moment, you go look at the video of when Jamal Murray missed the final shot last night and the Heat bench reacting. And when I say the Heat bench reacting, I mean their lack thereof reaction. They come off the bench, you get a couple fist pumps, you get a couple claps, and they walk up, the high fives, and they walk off the floor. Even Haywood Highsmith, you see, he's almost like, all right, settle down, and then he gave a fist pump, and then they leave. You know why? Because this team wasn't there to win a road playoff game. They're there to win 4. They're there to win 4 finals games, and that's just 1. There's still a lot of work to do. And if that wasn't clear, this team's attitude going into the finals, go watch the reaction of the bench after they won last night. Really cool that we got this one. We're not celebrating anything. We're here for 4. That's what I'm talking about. Let's get to big deal or not a big deal. You know what I'm talking about. Big deal or not a big deal. Every show brought to us by Water Cleanup of Florida. Are you dealing with water, mold, or fire damage in your home or business? Is that a big deal? Maybe it's not a big deal. I don't know. Water Cleanup of Florida will. 954-900-8635 or go to WCUFL.com. 954-900-8635. Let Water Cleanup of Florida tell you if it's a big deal or not a big deal. Big deal or not a big deal. So, here's Gabe Vincent. 23 points, led Miami in scoring. He's got guts for days. He's on the post game there, NBA TV. You got Shaq Barkley there, I think, with Matt Weiner as well. And Shaq, brings up the age-old question about, others doubting you.
Are you guys a little upset that you're not getting the respect that you deserve?
I speak for my whole team when I say we don't give a damn. We just want to get 4 wins. We don't give a damn about none of the other stuff.
Do not give a damn. That's right. Gabe confidently can speak for the whole team in that spot. We don't give a damn. That's a big deal. I love it. Just feels like our time. Big deal or not a big deal. Over the weekend, the Phoenix Suns, they hired a coach. He's called Frank Hole, otherwise known as Frank Vogel. Holy shit, is this an uninspired hire, if you ask me. Like, if I'm a Suns fan, I'd rather I know this is a team who hey, we're ready to win, although they need players more than a coach. They're not deep. I mean, they got hammered with the Mikal Bridges trade as far as their depth goes. But Frank Vogel, look, he was never able to win a big game in Indiana. He was terrible in Orlando. That's right, coached Orlando, don't forget, for 2 years, they fired his ass. And then in Los Angeles with the Lakers, yeah, he won in the bubble with LeBron, with arguably the greatest player ever. I don't think Frank Vogel's a good coach. I'm sorry. Now, what they are getting with the hiring of Frank Vogel is a coach who will yell at the opposing player when he shoots a 3 in the corner in front of the bench. Yeah, he's low rent like that. That they will get. They'll get the head coach yelling at the opposing player shooting a 3 in front of him. You will get that. So I guess that's a plus. He's super low rent. This is not a big deal to me, the Suns hiring Frank Vogel. Big deal or not a big deal? So post-game, Eric Spoelstra last night. Here's ESPN's Ramona Shelburne trying to ask about the Heat defending Jokic, and Eric Spoelstra, he's not hearing it.
Ramona Shelburne, ESPN. This is probably oversimplifying things, but sometimes when teams play against Jokic, you turn him into a scorer, you turn him into a passer, and he controls the game. He only had 4 assists tonight.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's just, that's the untrained eye that says something like that. This guy's an incredible player. Twice in 2 seasons, he's been the best player on this planet. You can't just say, oh, make him a scorer. That's not how they play. They have so many different actions that just get you compromised. We have to focus on what we do. We try to do things the hard way, and he requires you to do many things the hard way. He has our full respect.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and I think Spo's right. It's like, Jokic was incredible last night, and it's not like the Heat are daring him to become a scorer. Like, I understand Bam is dropping down into coverage a little bit, but, the other guys for Denver, they didn't play very well. Jokic's amazing. Like, there's only so much you could do. I don't think the Heat are forcing Jokic into anything. Like, they're trying to defend him as best they can, and, I do like the idea of, all right, if Jokic is going to have a big, that's inevitable, Jokic having a big game. Well, let's make sure the other guys don't get off. And that's what I really think was the general plan for Miami last night. Big deal or not a big deal? The Miami Marlins over the weekend swept Oakland. Oakland's so bad. They're now 12-49, I think. The Marlins, they sweep Oakland. They're now 32-28, a season best 4 games over 500. But Sandy Alcantara, his ERA now is over 5. He stunk again yesterday. The Marlins got down 5-1 after Alcantara gave up 5 runs, I think in the 3rd inning, against the lowly Athletics. Something's wrong with Alcantara. He's been bad so far this year. So that's a big deal. And finally, one more for you. Big deal or not a big deal? Great Miami Heat sports fan, Ryan Cortez, Parakeet Cortez, everybody knows him, contributor on the Levitard Show. Well, you know what happens if the Heat win a playoff game. Last night it was Denver. He's got to call up Denver Sports Radio, let them know about that Heat culture.
All right, let's open up the phone lines to 303-504-0925. Nuggets lose. Carl, damn your eyes, man. Carl, you are next on In the Paint. Go ahead, Carl.
Hey, what's up, Nate? Thank you so much for taking my call.
For sure, man.
I wanted to talk about the adjustments that Michael Malone made tonight. I myself was watching the game from the new Flanagans by the arena, and the guy next to me, his name's Sedano, he kept saying in Spanish, bistec empanizada con mora y maduro, which loosely it translates to culture chatter is in Denver radio. The Nuggets played like, you coward! Let's go!
Cool, Carl. Thank you for the call. We appreciate that. I don't understand anything that you said. Jeff, you are next on In the Paint after the Nuggets fall.
I'm going big deal. He got him. He got him. I mean, come on. You know, he's the best with these prank calls. I know the Denver radios, they want to make it seem like, oh, that's not a big deal. Thanks to the call. You were shook. He shook you. I could tell when a radio host is shook. You were shook. You never saw it coming. You got punked. It is what it is. That's a big deal right there. I can't wait for the next call. That's right. And that right there, courtesy of Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. Let Water Cleanup of Florida tell you if your water leak is a big deal or not a big deal. Yes! What a night! Can we get it done tonight? 8 o'clock tonight. Panthers, Vegas Knights. Let's go! I feel good about tonight. I mean, can both our teams steal the home court / home ice advantage? And get a day off tomorrow. Be nice if you get a Heat win, a Panther, and then we get to kind of rest on our laurels for a night before the Heat then get going again on Wednesday, and the Panthers will be home for Game 3 on Thursday night. Anyway, we're way focused on tonight. Panthers, Vegas Knights. Come on! Do it! All right. Everybody settle down. Hey, thanks everybody who helped put together a great show today. Your help is always appreciated. Always love your support. You guys do a great job. Everybody does a great job. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that fun stuff. That helps the algorithm. It helps me get the monies. I don't know how it works, but it seems to be a good thing. I'll talk to you on ZASLOW Show 2.0 tomorrow. You know what that means.